Hello everyone, welcome to this video. In this video we will learn how to make topographic map using QGIS software. Now let's get started. So for this project we will need QGIS software, and this software can be downloaded and installed from this link. I will leave this link in the description box. Then we will need contour plugin for QGIS. Once we install QGIS we can download it inside QGIS, so we don't need any link for this. In addition we'll need dataset, preferably in CSV format, because in this video we'll use the CSV format, and this CSV or Excel file should contain these columns: northing, easting. This should represent the spatial location and the elevation, which would be useful for contour lines. And this data set is obtained from topographic surveying using total station, and I will leave this sample data set, and this can also be found in the description. Now let's talk about the steps that we will use in this process. So first we will search and install contour plugin in QGIS and install it. Then we will add this CSV file dataset to QGIS from data source manager in QGIS. Then we will export this CSV file to SHV, which is shape file vector format, because we cannot do spatial analysis in the CSV dataset. We will need to convert into shape file. Then we will learn about spatial data query, and we will find the ground points from all the data, and these ground points will be used for creating contour lines. Then we'll learn spatial data development for mapping the buildings or roads or other features in the map. Then we'll learn about layout and map cartography, and then we will create a publishable map in PDF format. So now let's get started. So at first I would like to check our data. So I have my data here. So let's open this detailing data, and this data set contains 1 2 3 4 5 columns, and here is northing, easting and elevation. These three are the compulsory, and this remark is useful for spatial data query purpose. Okay, so now we will add this data to QGIS. So I'm in the QGIS. Once you install QGIS and open it, this should look something like this. Okay, so now let's first install our plugin, and then we will add our data. So now let's go to plugin tab here, then manage and install plugins. This will take some time to review the plugins you have already installed. So here in this all tab, we can search contour plugin. So here is contour plugin. Because I already installed it, it is saying me if I uninstall this plugin or reinstall this plugin. So I won't do anything here, but if you do not have this plugin installed, you can install it using install plugin tab. Okay, so I close it for now. So now next step is to add the CSV data. So to add the CSV data, we need to go to this layer tab, and then we will go to data source manager, which can also be opened using Ctrl+L command. So now let's open it, and because we will use CSV file format, let's go to this delimited text. There are different file types, but we will use this delimited text. And now let's browse our data. So here is our data detailing. So now let's add it. So we don't need to do anything here, but we need to confirm this geometry definition. So our X field is easting, which is correct, and Y field is northing, and Z field should be elevation. Then we need to check this coordinate system according to our data. So this is correct for my data, so I will add here. Okay, so this data set is now added in this QGIS software. So now let's export it to vector files, because this is in CSV file we cannot do spatial analysis, because the source file is still in .csv format. We need to convert it into .ssv format. So for that, let's click right here and then export. So here is save features as option. So now let's go here, and in the file name I'm going to browse it, and I'm going to create one folder named ssps. So inside this folder I'm going to name this dataset name all underscore data. Okay, so now let's save it, and okay, so this new dataset is added. Let's rename it all data. Okay, you don't need to rename it because I did a mistake, so I renamed it. So let's remove this previous dataset because we don't need this CSV dataset anymore. So now let's save this project. Save as QGIS topo map. Okay, let's save it. So this is our dataset. Now let's see the attribute table. So when you open this attribute table, you can see something like this. If there are two types of window in attribute table. One is this table and another is form. So if your attribute table look like this, then see in this corner and change it to table view. Now we can see this northern, eastern elevation and remarks. In remarks we can see there are GP, which are the ground points, and we will use these ground points for contouring for this project. So because we only want to extract these ground points features, so we can actually filter it from this dataset, and there is a sign like a filter here, or we can use Ctrl+F command. So now let's click this, and we will see this attribute table form. So here we can filter dataset. So now because we want to filter this dataset using remarks, I'm going to type GP in remark. Okay, here is GP. So now let's check this to equal to, which should work. And this is there is option select features. So now let's select features. So it says 198 features are matched among 991 features. So now let's close it. So we can see this different yellow color here, and these yellow color points are actually the ground points. And we can export this dataset, these yellow dataset, which are the ground points, separately, so that all data and these ground points would be different. So now let's click right here and go to export. Then we need to choose this option save selected features as, so that only ground points will be saved. We only selected our ground points, and now we can save the selected features. So now let's go to this file name, and I will type GP and save it. Okay, so now this GP only contains ground points. So let's remove this selection from here, selection tool. If this selection is not available for you, you can click anywhere in this space, and there should be something selection toolbar, and you can check it, and this would be visible for you. Okay, so now so these are the ground points. So now let's use our contour tool. So because we already have installed our plugin, so when you install our plugin, we should be able to see this contour option in this vector tab. So if this contour option is not visible in your QGIS, then you have some problems with the plugin installation. So please check that again. So because this is visible for me, I'm going to use this contour tool. So our point layer is ground points GP, and data value should be elevation. Then here are some options, so we can create different types of contours. For now we will create contour lines with a fixed interval. There are other options like n equal intervals or n quartiles, but we will use fixed contour intervals, and contour interval maybe 2 meters, and there is a numbers of contours, so it's better to keep it high. This provides limit. If only 10 is provided, then only 10 contour lines will be created. So now let's keep it like around 50, and this should be visible like the contour. So the contour lines will be created for these elevations. Okay, so now we are all set. So let's add this contour. So here we can see this contour created through this ground points, and this contour looks like very pointed and have this vertex. So we can, which is this is generally not considered good in contours. So now let's smooth it. So for smoothing we can go to this toolbox. If this settings like tab icon is not available for you, you can use Ctrl plus Alt plus T command. So now in this processing toolbox, let's search smooth. So there is vector geometry tool smooth, so it can be used to smooth these lines. So now let's double click it, and this is the input layer is GP elevation, and iteration let's keep it like 50, and let's run it. So this actually do the smoothing and creates good contours from here with minimal like difference. So we will use this smooth, and we don't need this GP elevation, so we will remove this layer. Okay, so because this is our final contour lines, let's save it. So now let's go to export and save it as contours. Okay, so because I already saved it, I don't need this one. Here is a like icon of a chip, which means this is a temporary layer. So let's remove this layer. Okay, now let's save our project one more time. So now this next step is to learn about spatial data development to create buildings, roads, and other features in the map. So for demonstration purpose, let's check this all data, and let's check attribute table. So let's go to this table format. Here I can see, okay, BC, which means building corners. So now let's filter BC and we'll try to create buildings. Okay, so now let's go to filter and go to remarks BC, and option should be equal to. Now let's select these features. 25 features are matched, and we can see this in yellow format here. So this is this should be building. So to create a building shapefile, we'll need to create a new shapefile, empty shapefile, and then we will plot this building using this data, and we will save it. So to create new shapefile, we need to go to this layer tab again, and this time we will go to this second option, create layer. We will create a shapefile layer. Okay, so in the file name, I'm going to write something building. Okay, let's save it, and geometry type should be the polygon, and the projection system should be UTM zone 45 because our data is UTM zone 45 so now let's add it. Okay, so for adding building here, we need to right click and toggle editing. So here we see this digitizing toolbar. If this is not available for you, click in this space, and there should be digitizing toolbar. So now let's go to this option which means 8 polygon features. Now we can draw these polygon features. Before drawing, we can use this snapping option from this project and snapping options. So now we can use this magnet. So now let's all edit, then let's go to this advanced configuration, then let's change all data to type to vertex. Okay, so this vertex would be snapped. Okay, great. So now let's keep this in aside, and I will try to add this data and create a polygon here, building polygon here. Okay, it's just for demonstration. So after clicking and finishing the geometry, we can click right, and there would be like ID. So we can write something like 1, and this should be available. Okay, now let's close this. So now following this method, other features can be drawn. So I'm going to save it. Okay, so I off this toggle editing, and now this feature is available. Okay, now another thing is this ground points looks a little larger. So now let's make this smaller. For this we can go to this properties by right clicking and go to symbology and reduce the size to 1. Maybe this should look nice. Okay, so now let's change the color of contour. Maybe black should be okay. Yeah, black should be okay. And let's provide the labels to the contours. For that we can go to these properties, and let's go to these labels and single labels, and this should be label, and this should work. Okay, so now the label is available. It looks nice now. So now we have completed spatial data query, contouring, spatial data development. Now we will create a layout for this map. So now let's go to layout manager, and let's create a empty layout, and let's give name topo map. This should work. Okay, so now this another window appears, and here in this white space we can create click right and go to page properties. Then we can maybe A3 paper side would work for this data set. So now okay, I have changed this to A3 size. You can change to AD. Other options are available. So now let's go to add item and add map. So we can click here and drag this to get our map here. Okay, it looks nice that our map is added here. So we can click here and yeah, go to this item properties. Now we can change this scale to maybe 1:1000 should be okay, and it looks nice. Okay, and now let's use other options like frame, and this would look better using frame. And there is also another option, grids. So let's add a new grid here, grid 1. So let's modify it and keep this interval, maybe 100 should be okay. Okay, good. Okay, so now line type, because it looks very dominating, let's change this line type. Line type maybe some kind of dotted line should work. Yeah, it looks better. So now we can also draw the coordinates by scrolling. So here is coordinates are added, but these coordinates are outside. So let's make it vertical, left and right. So left should be vertical ascending. Okay, this is okay, and right should also be vertical ascending. Okay, now it looks okay. So now let's add other map features. Let's go to add item, and let's add scale bar. Okay, let's also add a north arrow here. Maybe we can choose others here. uh, let's go to and a legend. Okay, here maybe, yeah, legend. So we can come to item properties and then off this auto update option, and because we don't have all data, you can keep it, but this is just for demonstration, so I am going to remove it. So this can be changed to ground points to make it easy to understand. Then this is contours. Okay, I think overall is good. So now let's keep it in a suitable manner. Then we can also provide text and other things. You could explore about this later. So now let's save it. So for this we can go to this layout and export to PDF option. So let's write topo map. Okay, so let's save it, and that should be okay. So it is already exported. We can see this map here. So let's see here. Okay, it looks nice. So this is our final output of this process. And this much for this video. We're going to end here. Thank you very much for watching, and see you at the next video.